ticker up. All right. All right, welcome everybody to the U.S. Legends Open Series right here from South Boston, Virginia, at South Boston Speedway. Want to welcome everybody. We're a little late to the party. Not by design there, though, folks. Evolution Racing Network has a smorgasbord of great leagues that we broadcast, and we have one elite league on Monday nights, Adrenaline Rush Racing League, that just finished up their Podium Interviews that never goes late. And of course, the one night it did. So, long story short, folks, just like on real TV, sometimes live sports broadcasts have to be kind of pushed into the next one. So here we are. We are 39 of 125 laps into this wonderful, historic South Boston, Virginia Speedway. I've circled this race on this schedule since the beginning of the season because this is such an historic track. Always by my side. I'm Ryan Ezel, by the way, and always by my side is my great friend and commentator, David Edwards. David, welcome to the show, brother.
Glad to be here. Glad to be up here in South Boston, Virginia, and just watching these guys go at it.
You know, David is a jet setter, so not only did he fly up here to get in the booth with me so we could call this great race, but, he just finished up that adrenaline race. Got on a private jet, hooked it up here on a G650. So glad you made it safe. Congrats to your pilot for getting you here so fast. But all jokes aside, guys, this is been an incredible race. We've had a little bit of cautions here and there, nothing too major. As you see at the ticker going across, we do have one driver that looks like had some trouble early in the race. But nothing, out of the ordinary, except for your guys that have won the last three races. Will Brinkley won the season opener, and then Ryan Bean, a.k.a. Dell Lives, has won the last two races, are both laps down. And I'm going to try to see if we can't get an interview with one of those two guys when we go into caution to kind of find out exactly what happened and get us caught up to speed. But as you can see right now, live on your screen, the guy that has had the horseshoe not in his pocket, but 1,700 miles away, buried 12 feet down, Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. in that black 3 car, finally got past lap 2, David. He's had 3 races where it's like lap 1 or 2, boom, he's out.
Yeah, that man has had some horrible luck to start the season. I'm glad to see him out front here, leading the field, and looks like he's putting it on pretty good.
Oh, yeah, he's putting on a great show. And this is, we talk a little bit about, the historical value of South Boston Speedway. Bring in a couple of facts about this thing. I was doing a little bit of research because, just so everybody is clear, I live in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and David, you live
in Charlotte, North Carolina.
That's right. So he's East Coast, I'm in the Midwest, and we both have our perception of your local Friday, Saturday night short tracks. Well, South Boston is not a stranger to one of those. This track has been around for decades. It's not even a half mile; it's 0.37 miles. Almost a fourth of a mile, and this thing has had famous drivers such as Richard Petty, David Pearson, Buddy Baker, Darrell Waltrip, Dale Sr., Kelly Yarbrough, and so many more grace this track on that same pavement that these legends raced on. So do the guys that still run here, and this track actually still runs on a full-time basis. They have late models, modifieds, and the Legends cars that you see here. These cars still run right now in real time out there at South Boston Speedway. So it's a tight little short track. One of the tracks that it's just a tad bit bigger than the new Nashville Fairgrounds, David. It's only a 0.25 mile. It's a quarter-mile track. built on, a tiny little part of the front stretch going through the pits. But this is very similar to that, same banking, same angles, and it's a very much a rhythm track.
Oh, 100%. I'm sure some of these guys are glad to be back to a oval after last week and going left and right at Lime Rock. But, being up here at South Boston, it's nice. The probably one of the bigger style tracks these guys will run as far as oval. I mean, Nashville was a quarter mile. You got the couple small tri-oval tracks, at Charlotte and stuff like that in Atlanta. So these guys may be actually enjoying it here. Get out, stretch your legs, let the motor stretch out a little bit, and see what kind of laps they can do and see what kind of damage they can do.
Yeah, and as we're sitting here taking a look at the battle right here on the screen that you're seeing now, the 68 of Dick Little, a.k.a. Andrew Little, and the 31 of Casey Kuntz sitting right there. These guys have been nose to tail for several laps, and Casey is not letting up. They're both taking a very unique approach to how they do the corner entry and corner exit. You see, and that's something that is so awesome about these Legends cars with that power to weight ratio that they have. 1200cc motor and that really short wheelbase and little to no weight underneath it. You can kind of explore with your driving line, especially on these short tracks. You're not coming in to the corners after 1,000-foot straightaway and having to brake at the same point as everybody. You can really explore with it. And this second and third place right here, look at them. They're catching the leader, David.
Yeah, I was going to say, even with them two battling and, going back and forth here, they're actually running down Fitzpatrick Jr. I wonder if he's maybe looking in the mirror seeing this and saving, or if, they're just catching him even while they're battling.
Yeah, I mean,
they've made up roughly 2 seconds since we come on air, and I mean they're right there beating on the back bumper now.
Here's what's crazy about this, David. So we're so used to in sim racing, a large majority of the leagues that are broadcasted that take the time and effort and the money to put one of these leagues on, they run stock cars or open wheels or sports cars like the IMSA style, the GT3 series. You don't see a lot of these niche leagues that run these old school style cars, but all of these current leagues, a majority of them are so aero dependent. So they're always having to worry about the draft. They're having to worry about, where are they in relation to the cars around them. But with the Legends cars, it's a little bit different. These are just big blocks. Yeah, they got some curves to them, but they got a ton of drag. So even though you see the 68 and the 31 there of Andrew Little and Casey Kuntz battling in and out, they were still gaining on the leader. And all three of those drivers, for the most part, are driving completely different lines, but yet still coming up with great lap times. As we go, we're going to throw the tower up here real quick, and let's look at their last time they crossed the line. And look how close those lap times are from first all the way back to eighth.
Yeah, you're looking at 600ths of a second
difference
in a lap. I mean, that's just, throw a blanket over them. And again, they just tacked again, and it's 700ths this time between the top three. So.
Yeah. It's just nuts. And that's what makes this league so much fun. As you see, the 31 gets a run on the outside right there, which means he's going to get the momentum on corner exit, we think anyways. But it's a drag race down the straightaways. Now, the only problem with this style racing, the side-by-side, going door to door and hard at it, lap after lap, is tire wear. So, David, tell the viewers, which one of those cars do you think is eating up more tires by being stuck in one of those two lanes?
It depends really on the track surface. I mean, the preferred line, if you look back through the field, everybody's running the bottom, down on the white line or yellow line and maybe half a lane up. So, Andrew could be binding the car up a little bit and burning a little right front, but Casey also out there on the outside, having to put a little more wheel into it, even though he's got the momentum, is out there running in a virgin groove, so to say. It's not the rubber laid down, doesn't have the, it's just more of a cheese grater type surface, so he could be eating it. And it looked like, at last lap there that Andrew was able to get the momentum on the bottom, and maybe Casey got out of it realizing he might need to save a little bit more tire.
Yeah, and you see that top three battle there. We're going to keep a close eye on it because obviously that's where the action is at. Um, but let's take a look back a little further in the field. We'll get right back to this lead pack here shortly. We've got Harold Watkins in the 22 and 4th, Jerry Culver in the 13 and 5th, Rusty Modesty in 6th, Harold Rothery in 7th, Mark Thibodeau in 8th, Bob Fitzpatrick Sr. in 9th. And that is your top 9 and all the drivers that are on the lead lap. But it's all about the top 3 right now as we are crossing a lap 74 of 125. Doesn't look like there's any end in sight. And as you see, Andrew Little really pokes his nose in underneath Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. and making it a drag race right there. Just what Casey Kuntz was doing to him, he was able to get underneath the 3 of Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. and he's holding him up there, David.
Yeah, he's obviously, Andrew Little and who's running? Casey Kuntz. Sorry, I just looked at his name. That's on the scoring tower. Fitzpatrick had the lead there for a while, but obviously Little and Kuntz are faster than him. And as you can see now, as soon as they clear him, Andrew and Casey both are starting to, well, Casey can't quite kill him, but clear him. But once they clear him, they're just going to start driving away.
Yeah, and they are getting awfully close. I think that tire wear is starting to be a factor here, David, where, the 3 car had a good, comfortable lead. As you see him right there, he's trying to get to that bottom line where he's been running all night. But when a car is there, that closes the door and it forces you to drive in that uncomfortable line that maybe your car just doesn't feel good in. So he's forced to get shuffled back to 3rd. And you see him right there at the bottom of that track just trying to dig. He does not want to give up this top spot that he had. And while these two are battling it out, Casey Kuntz, is doing what all drivers are told oh so often: drive beyond your hood pins. Do not drive out of your mirror. And I'll be honest with you, as a sim driver myself, my worst attribute is always when somebody is behind me right on my bumper, I change my driving style. And that's the number one no-no in sim racing. You don't drive out of your mirror. You drive beyond your hood pins.
Yeah, you looking in the mirror, you will miss a corner every time, and they will get in your head, and you'll just, you'll give it right back to them quicker than you took it from them.
Yep. And as we sit here and talk, folks, one thing that we want to mention is our great sponsors here tonight for the U.S. Legends Open Series. You see that beautiful gold icon down at the bottom. That is Potter County Diggers. Everybody's probably wanting to know, okay, what kind of construction company is that? What do they got to do? No, man, this is a YouTube channel that you have got to check out. This is about a group of guys that really take unearthing historical artifacts serious. They enjoy it. They like to have fun with it. They explore the history of north central Pennsylvania. They use metal detectors to unearth rare coins, Native American artifacts, and many more items that have historical value. They go to old home sites from decades ago or 100 plus years ago and other historical areas, and they go find that next piece of American history, which is so cool. I have watched several of their videos on YouTube, and all you got to do is go to YouTube, look up Potter County Diggers. Make sure you subscribe, like and follow them for every time they go live. These are a bunch of guys that just do it for fun, but they take it serious. They get out there and they really put their heart and soul into it. And it's just like Pawn Stars or any of these other shows, the History of Oak Island that the History Channel plays. They just do it because they truly enjoy history and they find some really, really cool things. So go out there and check them out, folks. That's Potter County Diggers on YouTube. As we get back to the racing right here, Bob is still battling it out with the 31 and Casey Kuntz. And while these two have been tangoing, I just put Andrew Little with a little over a second, a 1.3 second lead over the rest of the field. Now, these guys have got the fuel, had a couple of cautions early in the race, but they have not had a caution since we went live right at 30-something laps. So tire wear is going to start being a factor. Lap traffic is going to be a factor. You know, we look at a lot of these drivers. Andrew Little right now is the driver that has made up the most positions since the start of this race. So I'm curious to see, will he hold that? Right behind him is Jerry Culver in the 13 car. He's made up 6 positions from where he started and currently in 5th position. But as you see right there, that is that beautiful orange and white tribute to Dale Sr. That's Ryan Bean right there battling with Jerry Culver. Ryan Bean is multiple laps down, but still out there clicking off some laps and getting some points. But that is your current points leader right there in the 28 car. As you see, Jerry Culver just say, hey, I want to run my line. Get out of my way. You're lap car right now. You ain't the leader no more.
Yeah, and while these guys, when we're going back through the field, I've been watching Andrew Little, and he's just continuing to extend his lead. He's pushed it up to almost 2 seconds now. He's just turning laps in and out, and he's just putting on a clinic here tonight.
Yeah, he is. You know, and that has kind of been the MO of several of these drivers for the last 3 weeks prior to tonight. You know, we kicked it off, you know, at Thompson, and then we went, let's see.
We went Nashville then.
Nashville, sorry. Southern National was our first race, and then we went to Nashville Fairgrounds. Then last week, we kind of threw a wrench in everything and went and did some road course racing at Lime Rock, which even the league owners and the drivers told us, you know, prior to the race and after, they weren't expecting that track to put on a good product. But I was shocked at how well the racing turned out and how it really came down to the last couple laps. We saw Casey Kuntz was making a charge to take over the lead, running second, and with, you know, 1.5 laps to go, runs out of fuel. So it was some incredibly good racing at Lime Rock. So they will be hitting back on the road courses coming up. But tonight it's all about South Boston. Next week we head to Thompson Speedway for another short track, and then the old Dirty Myrtle Beach Speedway on August 16th. But tonight, one of these lucky drivers has a special gift that Evolution Racing Network is going to be giving away. You know, here at ERN, David, we do crazy giveaways and random drawings and charity drives and all kinds of stuff, right? We do it within our leagues and within the broadcast network. Well, tonight, U.S. Legends Open Series, one of our newest series to sign on with us, has been chosen as ERN's special prize winner for this week. So we don't want to announce it live on the air because we know some of these drivers actually listen to the broadcast while they're racing or have their family listening and feeding information back. But as soon as we conclude this race, we're going to tell you exactly which one of these drivers are going to win a lucky $100 worth of iRacing credits. That's $100, folks, just for competing tonight. And we know exactly what the qualifications are, and you're about to find out here in 23 laps who our winner is going to be, because it may not necessarily be the race winner. Well, David, it doesn't look like Bob is relinquishing any fight out of Casey Kuntz. He is still all over that back bumper.
Yeah, well, you know, the way Andrew and Casey were running there to run him down, I have expected both of them to drive away, but Andrew obviously did. But when Casey got around there, you know, Bob coming back to the inside here with a drive off of 4, looked like, and taking the position back. You know, Casey just wasn't able to separate himself from Bob the way Andrew was. And, you know, maybe Casey burned up the right front there, racing Andrew there for a few laps.
Yeah, he very well could have. And, another thing is what's so cool to watch on the short tracks is you can sit there and literally be on somebody's bumper for 20 laps and you can set them up. You keep driving the same thing, driving the same corner entry, same corner exit. That driver in front of you becomes accustomed to that style. And then all of a sudden you do the opposite and it throws them off, and you can very easily take a position and catch them sleeping.
Oh yeah, and that goes back to what we were talking about earlier about driving in your mirror. You start looking back there and just essentially lull you to sleep with just the routine. And the minute they throw it off, if you're running in that mirror, then you might miss your spot. So always race past your hood pins, race forward.
That's right. As you see our leader, Dick Little, a.k.a. Andrew Little, right there. Harold Rothery in the 4-car, driving that high line. But, man, he was trying to battle because he wants to stay on that lead lap. He is going to be the first car 1 lap down. So if a caution was to come out in this last 16, 17 laps, Harold Rothery would be your lucky dog winner at this point. But it doesn't look like anybody's got anything for Andrew Little tonight. The blue 68 vintage car there with over a 2-second gap there. And we see a car spin out a little bit. Let's see, that was the 27 of Mark Thibodeau. No caution on the track. Looks like he kept it off the wall and gets back up to speed. So that's all that's going to do is just help Andrew Little solidify that lead.
Yeah, he's just, he's up to almost 4 seconds now. He's just, I don't think anybody's going to touch him minus a caution, late race caution. It's his race to lose at this point. As long as he put enough fuel in it, unlike Casey last week.
Hey, we've all had it happen to us. And I think I heard a little rumblings in Discord after the race. It was like, I could have swore I clicked fill the tank fuel under that caution, but maybe he clicked 1 or 2 gallons short, and obviously it ended up costing him that podium finish. But right now, Andrew Little looks like he is sailing away, and as long as he gets in that rhythm and just continues to hit his marks, nobody's going to have anything for him tonight. In second place, you got Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. from Indiana up there battling with some lap traffic, one of them being his dad, Bob Fitzpatrick Sr. in that red 48, and Harold Rothery right there in the 4-car. These guys are a collective group of respectful people, so the lap cars traditionally get out of the way and let the leaders go at it. Casey Kuntz a little further back from Pennsylvania. This is one of the guys, Kevin Dowd and Casey Kuntz, that are the Potter County Diggers, your title sponsor for the league here. These guys are the ones that go out and help unearth history all over North Central PA.
Hang on a second, Ryan. I'm getting word from guys down in the pits. We might have Ryan on the horn here to maybe explain what happened earlier in the race.
All right, let's do that here. Let's see if we can grab Ryan and find out. Hey, Ryan Bean, this is Ryan and David up in the urine booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. What's up, guys?
Hey, man. I know nobody wants to be talked to when bad things happen, but, we were a little late to the show tonight and noticed that our 2 guys that have been dominating the series were a couple laps down. If we can get a quick recap of what happened earlier in the race, that would be awesome.
Yeah, Will qualifies on pole. I qualify second. Whatever. We raced for a couple laps, and a caution happened to the back. We had a spinner. And then Will takes the outside, I take the inside, and then I took the lead. And 2 laps later, I spun out coming off of 2, which is probably the toughest turn tonight. And I was up in the back and just damaged and ruined my race. And then sure enough, next restart, Will does the exact same thing. So we both got caught out. And
man.
So far, that's been the only 2 cautions tonight.
Yeah, it's been
everybody's racing well.
Clean and green since lap 38. Well, man, I'll get you back with your team. Sorry about your luck, but the good news is you got 2 wins under your belt this season, so you got a good, comfortable points lead, and we look forward to talking to you next week, brother.
Yes, sir. Have a good night, guys.
Thank you, Ryan.
You too, buddy. Well, you heard it right there. That's exactly what happened. As you're watching your leader with 4 laps to go, this thing is going to be over in no time, David.
Yeah, I mean, I know, even if we come in 30 laps in And I mean, it's just gone by. I mean, 125, they had 90 something to go. It has just flown by, man.
Oh yeah, it has been awesome. But you know what? Hey, with 2 to go, we can go ahead and tell the little secret, can't we, David?
Yeah, go ahead. You're terrible at keeping secrets, so I'll let you tell
I'm
this.
horrible at keeping secrets. Let's just call it what it is. With 2 laps to go, you got Andrew Little in the 68 car right there. We got this cool little scoring tower, folks, that we look at, and we set it before the race. We're going to give $100 worth of iRacing credits, which is essentially $100 worth of cash to use in iRacing, as we take the white flag to the Hard Charger Award. So the guy that made up the most positions from the start of the race to the finish of the race. Ironically enough, your winner, Andrew Little, takes the checkered flag, and he made up 7 positions from his starting spot. The guy behind him, the only other guy to be close to him would be Jerry Culver. He made up 6 spots since his starting position. So our winner tonight of not only the race right here at South Boston is Andrew Little. He will also get $100 worth of iRacing credits courtesy of Evolution Racing Network. And boy, did he put on a clinic tonight.
Yeah, he did. Looking back at the tower, where do you have him starting at there, Ryan?
Well, I'm showing he made up 7 positions. So, folks, before you're bringing up something, I want to make sure that we're all looking at the same data. I have him starting, that would put him 8th. What are you showing, David?
I'm showing him 4th on the grid.
Okay. Well, before we give that money away and actually
We'll figure that
put
one
it in the bank, we'll do that. We're going to take a quick commercial break anyways, folks, as you're sitting here watching your race winner, no matter what your race winner is, Andrew Little in the 68 car from Michigan. He is going to do that Polish victory lap, and we are going to take a couple of commercial breaks real quick, pay some bills. We'll be right back with some interviews of your podium finishers, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place, which will be Andrew Little, Bob Fitzpatrick Jr., and Harold Watkins snuck in there at the end and got him a 3rd place finish. So we'll be back here in just a few moments, folks, and we will have your podium interviews.
I started Folds of Honor above my garage 13 years ago because 90% of spouses and children of killed or disabled U.S. service members receive no federal education assistance. Our mission has never wavered. We honor their sacrifices by educating their legacy.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thank you for supporting the Fold of Honor.
Thanks to you, I will be a construction engineer.
An elementary school teacher.
Thank you for helping me fulfill my dream of going to med school.
We're able to award these scholarships because patriots like you refuse to turn your back on the cost of freedom. Join the Folds of Honor Squadron today. Your $13 a month will help ensure we never turn military families away. This is your call to duty.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for supporting the Folds of Honor.
Thanks to people like you, I know my dad is not forgotten.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
All right, welcome back, folks. Right here from South Boston, Virginia, with the U.S. Legends Open Series. So we talked about it earlier that the U.S. Legends Open Series was chosen as this week's Evolution Racing Network prize pool, if you will. Every once in a while, we'll throw out these random contests. And earlier tonight during Adrenaline Rush Racing right here live on ERN, we gave away a complete Gamer 2 setup courtesy of Butt Kicker, one of our longtime and trusted sponsors from ERN. So we kind of backed it up to have a little fun for the entire night and gave away $100 worth of iRacing credits, which is essentially cash to use in iRacing. And after a little bit of digging, some of our programs like to give us accurate information, and some of them don't, as David so eloquently found for me. I'm glad he did, but the winner was going to be the hard charger. So whoever started on the grid and made up the most positions from the start of the race to the end of the race. And after looking at all the data, our winner tonight was Jerry Culver in the 13 car. He will be taking home the Hard Charger Award and $100 of iRacing dollars, courtesy of ERN. So we're going to see if we can't get him on the horn after we get through the interviews here real quick. But first, David, I think, has our third place finisher, Harold Watkins. Let's take you to him right now.
Hey, Harold, it's David and Ryan up in the ERM booth. You got us?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Pretty good, man. Well, I mean, brought her home third tonight. Can't complain about that too much, can you?
Well, definitely not.
Give us a little bit about, we come in about 30 laps in. How was the beginning of the race? Give us your thoughts on that one.
So the beginning of the race was pretty much nose to tail, like the whole field just felt like it was stacked on top of each other. And Ryan and Will both spun out and gave some other guys some opportunities to get up there and try to fight for some spots up here.
I'm sure the whole field was rejoicing on that one whenever you see the guys that have pretty much dominated the past 2 weeks backing in the fence. So from your perspective throughout the race, how was it? I mean, you've been up towards the front about every week this year. So, how it's finally nice to see you right up here on the podium talking to us. Give us your take on everything tonight.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. Those bumps coming out of 2, that's what got Will and Ryan. And I think people were kind of very leery of that going forward. And then, as the race progressed on and we got that long green flag run, people just got in a groove. And you could definitely see who burnt the tires off and who didn't, because people were like dropping like flies and people were starting to catch a lot of people. It was interesting.
Yeah, we definitely had some comers and goers there. There for a while, Casey and Andrew were coming up through. Then Casey and Robert got together, and it looks like there towards the end, you were able to run down Casey and get around him.
Yeah, I saw the relative coming. I'm like, wow, how am I catching him so fast? And I don't know if it was some damage or I kind of got into a lull and backed off a little bit, hoping for a caution just in case to save a little bit. And then when I realized nothing was coming, I started picking it up, and maybe that was it. Maybe I just saved a little bit more tire, and that's what got me up there.
Hey, whatever it takes, man. Very nice, impressive drive for you tonight. Before we let you get out of here, anybody you want to say thanks to, shout outs to?
Yeah, thank you to my family for letting me race, and thanks to you guys for broadcasting. Do a great job every week. It's always fun watching, and thanks to Rusty for putting the league together. I know Nolan wasn't here tonight, but he's always helping me out, so appreciate him as well.
10-4, Harold. Well, we're off to Ryan, where are we at next week?
Thompson. For another 125 laps.
Whew. Off to Thompson next week, Harold. So hopefully better at 2 positions, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, that right there, you just heard from your third place finisher, Harold Watkins. And if you would have asked me with even 10 to go, 20 to go, I would have told you it was going to finish Little, Fitz, and then Casey Kuntz. I didn't see Harold sneaking up there, but man, he did what is so hard to do for so many, which is save just enough to have it there at the end, and did an incredible job getting him another podium finish. That is not his first; that's his second this season. So,
good for him. Yeah, I mean, great job doing.
Oh yeah,
like you said, what's so hard to have that mindset of just save it for the end.
Yep. So, well, let's see if we can't get old Fitzy Fitz down here and have a word with him. Fitz, this Ryan and David up in the ERM booth. You got a copy?
I'm here.
Oh, well, you are. Well, you sound disappointed, bro. You put on a show tonight. You were doing incredible, man. You were dominating. And we were commenting, pretty much 90% of the camera shots tonight were on that top 3. You, Andrew Little, and Casey Kuntz. And they were gaining on you when they were racing side by side, but yet you're just running your line. So the aero package isn't as sensitive in these cars as, say, a stock car. You know, what was it tonight? Was it just tire wear fell off too much there at the end? But what was it that kept you from maintaining that lead through the race?
It was probably I changed my setup right at the end, and I went with a different setup pretty much than what these guys were doing. And because I was just didn't like the setup for this track, I was real loose, but then I changed it last minute for a more stable, and it was like real good in that, you know, first 60 laps, and it was stick to the ground. I never got loose. That's why I could pull away. And then I figured, yeah, I'm probably burning it up a little bit too much because I'm not. It wasn't loose enough in the rear, but
well,
tried sticking them out.
Yeah, it looked like, I mean, and you never lost it because you fell back to third there for a while, you know, because, you know, Andrew Little got around you, and then Casey Kuntz, you guys, the two of you guys were battling for 30, 40 laps, side by side, nose to tail, and then Casey finally got around you. But the good news is you had just enough left in the car, and you were smart enough to go ahead and let them burn their stuff up, because you were able to get back around them. I don't think anybody had anything for Andrew Little by the end of the race. We needed a caution for everybody to get re-racked and stacked. But after your first three races here in this series, you've had, I made a joke at the beginning of the race that you don't have a lucky horseshoe in your pocket. It's 1,700 miles away and buried 12 feet deep when it comes to this league. But somehow you're able to pull it out, because second place may not be the win, brother, but that was a very respectable finish tonight, and you put on some good points. So before we let you go, though, man, we always want to throw the mic over and allow our drivers on the podium to throw any shout-outs, thank yous to sponsors, family, friends, teammates. So I'm going to do that now and throw you the mic and allow you to give all your shout-outs.
That's a shout out to Rusty putting this thing on. It's a fun little series. You guys putting the show on, and you know and the wife for letting me hang on here for a few hours every night.
Well,
not every night, but
I was about to say you better be thanking the missus, because I know I race with you every Tuesday night as a teammate, so I know you better be thanking her. Well, brother, we look forward to talking to you again next week. Maybe this is the finish you needed to turn that luck around in these Legends cars. So good luck. Have a great week, and we'll be talking to you soon, brother.
Later.
All right, man. Well, that was your second place finisher, Bob Fitzpatrick Jr., finally getting that monkey off his back, David, and getting a really good quality finish.
Yeah, I'm hoping that turns the leaf for him in this league. You know, he's had a rough start, so it was nice to see him actually come through, get a good run, you know, lead a lot of laps tonight, and ended up finishing second. But like I said, hopefully he gets that monkey off his back and he can turn that leaf and start knocking out some better finishes and maybe hopefully a few wins.
All right, well, we're going to talk to the guy that dominated tonight and put on a show, Mr. Andrew Little from, I'm not even going to say, he lives in Indiana. You want to take a stab at that? Coquitlam? Let's just bring him down here and ask him.
Indiana? I'm pretty sure that's Missouri.
I'm sorry, Michigan.
Michigan. I feel like I suck too.
God, I'm sitting here looking at somebody else's going, okay, it's Indiana. No, that was Bob. So let's just bring him in here. Mr. Dick Little, a.k.a. Andrew Little. Ryan and David. What's up, brother?
You know what they say. I may be a dick, but I'm a real Richard when I'm out there on the track.
Oh, the dad puns. There's nobody better. And all the viewers right now are looking at your pretty little mugs sitting on the TV right now, just going, he looks like a real Richard. So
they'd be absolutely right.
Well, hey, before we get too deep into this and let David talk to you about the race, how in the world, I'm butchering the town you're from, Coquitlam, or what is it?
Coquitlam. So, you know, or some of my friends like to call it Balls Deep, Michigan, but you know, But I figured if you guys have a hard time with the whole Richard Andrew thing, you guys could just call me Butter because I was on a roll tonight, guys. It was awesome.
Brother, you did great.
God.
And David, why don't we go ahead and let's talk to him about the race?
Well, about that, Andrew. I mean, you were out there, man. You and Casey had a hell of a battle there for most of the race, even catching Fitz Jr. So tell us about that.
Well, Fitz had a real bold strategy, and what he did is he loaded up a setup for the wrong track, and it worked really well. And but he had some really great short run speed, and the only way that worked out, guys, was I got to give props to Ryan Bean because he was sharing some tips, and then he just said, "Oh, here, go ahead," and he shared his setup with me. So it may be sponsored by Dick's Body Shop, but it was set up by Ryan Bean. So I got to give props to that boy for helping me out.
And then he cut you another break and backed it in the fence too. So
yeah, I have a nickname that maybe I won't mention here, but for some reason, every time I'm behind Ryan Bean, he does a little bit of a flick out of the way somehow and just snaps loose and gets into the wall, and it's
yeah, I believe y'all carry that over on Tuesday nights too. There more often than not.
Yeah, it happens. We've actually never made contact with each other except for the first time last week. So, but yeah, I got the reputation for taking them out.
Yeah, I mean, you and Casey had a heck of a battle there. Two different lines, two different entries and exits all the way around. And then, once you got around Fitz, you were gone, man. I mean, it was impressive. And Casey couldn't get away from him like you did.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't. I had to fight Casey really hard because I was afraid with how well he was, right on my bumper. I kind of figured whoever was getting past Fitz first was probably going to be able to check out. So I wanted to make sure he stayed behind me. So I fought real hard, and I just waited for Fitz to, his drive off was starting to really suffer. So I was able to finally pinch down underneath him there and get a good drive off. And we had a couple of close moments, but it was a great race.
Yeah, all in all, we got Thompson up next week. You feeling confident about there like you were here?
I didn't feel confident about here. So, I mean, and I've never raced at Thompson. So,
well, I mean, that's great. I mean, if you didn't feel confident here and look what you pulled out, just maybe, I'm not sure if he'll back in the fence, but you might need to go butter up to Ryan there again this week and see if he can drop a little help your way.
I think the free setups end tonight, so we'll see how that goes.
Well, but I mean, you had a heck of a run tonight, Andrew. Like I said, once you got around Fitz, you were gone. You stretched the lead out. I think at one point it was up to 4 or 5 seconds. So nobody could touch you tonight. You handled lap traffic amazingly. A lot of respect in this league, guys getting out of your way. But even then, I think even if they even tried to race you, you still had the car to beat regardless. So very impressive run tonight.
Yeah, it was a good run by a lot of folks. It would have been, it's too bad that we lost Will and Ryan early. But in the end, you got to kind of sometimes take what you can get of some of the bad luck of other guys, and thankfully I was able to take full advantage tonight.
Well, that's good to hear. Before we let you get out of here, any sponsor shout outs you want to give, family, friends? I'll give you the mic and let them go.
Oh, I gotta give my wife crap tonight because I literally said, all right, honey, I gotta go home and bring home the bacon and get the win. And she goes, yeah, right, whatever. And that was the last thing she said before she goes to bed. And hi, honey, love you.
There you go, Mrs. Little. Your boy brought home the bacon.
Oh, I got one more thing for my son. I told my son if I get a win, I got to say this. Yeet.
Yep. How old's your son?
My son is 8.
Okay, I got a 7-year-old. I'm surprised he's not going, sheesh.
I got a 5-year-old that goes around the house going, sheesh, and yeets everything. So,
yeah, it's yeet or get yeetin' is what my kid says.
There you go.
Well, Andrew, a heck of a run tonight, like we said before. Thompson next week. Hopefully, put it together again next week, and we'll be talking to you again.
All right, man. Appreciate it, guys. You have a good one. Take it easy.
Too, man.
You too, brother.
Well, the good old yeets and sheeshes.
Oh, I'm telling you, I was at the lake this weekend, me, wife, and the kids, and that's all I heard out of Lincoln's mouth all weekend. He would stand up on the bow of our boat, and he'd just go, sheesh. Jerry. And I'd look around. I'm like, and then all of a sudden you just hear people all over from boat to boat to boat doing the exact same thing. I was like, my 7-year-old's creating a revolt here. Well, let's take a look at the results before we close the show out. And then I think we've got our contest winner on the line here. But before we do that, let's take a look and see how this thing finished up tonight right here from South Boston Speedway here in South Virginia. As our race winner, you just heard from him live, Andrew Little in the 68. Second, Bob Fitzpatrick Jr. in that black 3 car. Third, Harold Watkins in the 22 Big League 2. Fourth, Casey Kuntz in the 31. And our top 5, rounding it out, is Jerry Culver in the 13. David, take us the rest of the way.
Rusty coming in 6th there. Harold Rothery coming in 7th. Robert Fitzpatrick Sr. coming in 8th. Mark Thibodeau coming in 9th. And then rounding out the field was a 28 of Ryan Bean and the 47 of Will Brinkley, both having issues tonight and backing it in the fence. And Ryan was able to continue and make a few, actually made up a position on Will to get a few more points. So it was good for him. But all in all, just really bad luck for them, for our guys that have dominated the past 3 weeks.
That's right. And, the great news about finishing, 1-2 for 3 races in a row and getting some wins in there is you get a good points cushion so you can afford to have 1 or 2 bad races. But with a short season like this, I think it's 14 weeks, you can't afford to have too many. So this is kind of their mulligan that they get to throw away next week when we go to Thompson, and then the week after that when we go to Myrtle Beach Speedway. All very similar tracks, short tracks, 125 laps. I think tonight that taught them a lot of how these short tracks that are rhythm tracks, all about the same size, same amount of laps. If they truly study the film from tonight's race and the telemetry, they can understand how can I win, because they got a good stretch of these type of tracks coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be the same style. You don't have to worry about the road courses for a couple weeks. And, like you said, all relatively same size, same shape. And so, like I said, they go back, do a little bit of studying, a little bit of practicing this week. They should be set for the next couple weeks.
Yep. All right. Well, let's see. I think I'm being told that we've got our contest winner. I don't think he knows. He may know by now, but let's see if we can get him on the horn. Jerry Culver, Ryan and David up in the ERM booth. You got a copy?
Hello.
Hey, buddy. You're probably wondering why you're here, knowing that most people that finish 5th place don't just get a random call to say, hey, we need to have a word with you live on air. Have you been told what's going on yet?
No, I have not.
Well, I think this will be some good news for you. As you may know, earlier tonight during the Adrenaline Rush Racing League series live on Evolution Racing Network, we gave away our a complete Gamer 2 Butt Kicker series system, courtesy of Butt Kicker, that was for all of our broadcasts over the last month. And we felt generous, and Evolution Racing Network did not want to end with another series that was competing after that without giving something else away. So we had talked to the league owner at the beginning of the race, and we had decided that courtesy of Evolution Racing Network, we were going to give $100 of iRacing credits away to one lucky driver that started tonight's race. And we didn't want to tell anybody what the parameters were until the race was over, because we didn't want anybody trying to cheat. But we came down to the Hard Charger Award. So the driver that made up the most positions from where they started to where they finished. And after doing some quick math and looking at the results, Jerry Culver, you are our winner, making up 6 positions from where you started to where you finished with a 5th place finish tonight. Great points tonight for you. But now you got $100 worth of iRacing credits. So what do you think?
That's very generous of you guys, and I appreciate it, and can't thank you guys enough.
Oh, man, we're excited to do it. We, you know how we are. We love just having some fun and giving back when we can. And it's always nice. You know, Jerry, tell the viewers where you're from. I know we always see your mom in the chat, Sherry Culver. You got to make sure you give her a shout out now that you're here.
Yeah, definitely. She's my biggest fan. And sorry, I got my daughter that just came in here right now. But she's my biggest fan. She helps me out. She gets me, what I need. She sponsors me basically, and she just loves racing. So I can't thank her enough, and my family for letting me race, and for you guys, for being up there broadcasting.
Awesome. Well, brother, take this. It'll be in your account tonight before you go to bed. So we just want to say thank you for being a great supporter of Evolution Racing Network and the U.S. Legends Open Series. And we're going to let you go and have some family time. Enjoy your week, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
Yes, sir. But can I actually do one thing right now? Actually,
Yeah, what you got?
Go for it, man.
Can I make a bounty out of it?
Oh, David, this is getting good.
I like this. I like this where it's going. This is good.
All right.
I want to put a bounty on third place for the Legends race next race.
All right. So next week at Thompson Speedway, right?
Yep.
So what are you saying? Whoever gets third?
Whoever gets third.
Wow. All right. Why don't we do this? Why don't we split it up? Because I hate people that don't get to enjoy in some of it. I love selfless people that are willing to give. But how about we split it up and we give $50 to you, and then we give $50 to whoever finishes third next week.
That's fine.
All right, we'll do that. Fair enough. Well,
But
you heard it right here.
I want to see a battle for third.
Oh, I think you're going to see a battle all over the track, because tonight taught a lot of the drivers on how to drive these little short tracks that you guys do so many of.
Yes, sir.
All right, Jerry, have a great night. We'll talk to you soon, brother, and we'll make sure to put that bounty out there.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that was a pretty cool deal there, David. Wanted to throw a bounty out.
That makes next week even more interesting.
Heck, yeah, it does. Well, you guys just heard it right there from Jerry Culver, our contest winner for tonight, the Hard Charger Award. We're going to be throwing $50 of that to whoever finishes third, which is going to be interesting, because it's one thing to want to win the race, but what happens if you're running second and the race is almost over and that $50 looks really appealing to you? Slam on the brakes as other drivers come in the line? Have to wait and see.
Imagine this week, Andrew was gone, so there was no point running for the win at that point. He's got it. So do you start playing games and backing it up?
Exactly.
Should make Thompson very, very interesting.
That's right. Well, everybody, you will have to tune in right here on Evolution Racing Network's YouTube page. At what time do we go live? We go live about 9:15, 9:20 Eastern time next Monday. It'll be U.S. Legends Open Series live from Thompson Speedway. So until then, folks, y'all, it has been an absolute blast. Have a great week. Make sure to tell somebody that you love, that you do love them. Sometimes they just need to hear it. Have a great week, folks. And David, it was a blast tonight, brother.
It always is. Look forward to getting back up here next week at Thompson. Doing it again.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. We'll see you soon.
Later, guys.